Astronauts to the moon.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
What's going on, everyone? It's Jaron from Jeranism, back with another live video for you today. Glad that you are joining me wherever you might be. If you are watching this on January 30th, you're probably watching live, so thank you for that. I really appreciate it, and thanks for joining me. A shout out to everyone in the chat. Always like to throw that out first. Today's video is called "The Earth is YouTube Knows Best." Yes, today I'm choosing to help YouTube because they know best, right? So I figure I would help them out, and we're going to do that by basically keeping some text up on the screen for you so that you don't get confused and believe anything I say or take anything I say to heart. It's all just words, right? But the main points that you need to get are going to be scrolling across the screen, and that's all that you need to remember because YouTube knows best. So thank you, YouTube, for that. I do appreciate it. We'll say thank you to YouTube as we go on, but gone are the days of honest discussion, it seems, or honest conversations, something that, I enjoy. I don't know what happened to skepticism. I don't know what happened to being able to ask questions. I don't know what happened to the fundamental right that we all have to question the government. Things like that are going away and quickly. So tonight I'm just going to be showing some videos, mostly by other people, some conversations, and we're just going to basically have a little chit-chat about censorship and ways that possibly you can help, because now being skeptical is, considered borderline content, and we don't want to be borderline, so make sure you follow the text on the screen so that you can be aware of all the things that are true and all the things that are facts and all the things that are scientific. We got to make sure that we know that. And every once in a while I'll switch the text because I do have several of those that will be scrolling across the screen. I just have to remember to get over there and change them. So let's start off first with a quote that I think is very important. If I can get it up here, I will bring it to you. There we go. How about this quote by George Martin? The quote is, "When you tear out a man's tongue, you are not proving him a liar. You're only telling the world that you fear what he might say." Very important if you understand the context of what's going on and what we've heard that YouTube will be doing going forward, which is basically a video that we're going to watch here in a second. But I wanted to point out some interesting things to start, just some quotes, and a lot of people are used to me showing you quotes, but another one is, "Those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed by the masses." So that's a great quote for this particular issue. Another is the further a society drifts from truth, the more it will hate those who speak it. So remember that. But we should look at the Arthur Schopenhauer and his little quote here, which I think is very important. "All truth passes through 3 stages. First, it is ridiculed," which if you've paid any attention to this topic, you know that the Earth has definitely been ridiculed. Secondly, it is violently opposed, which is kind of where we're at now. And then at the very end, it's accepted as self-evident. So let's see if that holds true or not. We'll have to keep our eyes open. Another quote that I think is very important is this one by Carl Sagan, who said, "If we're not able to ask skeptical questions, if we're not able to interrogate those who tell us something is true." Okay, so a lot of YouTube content creators will get on and say, "Hey, the media said this, but here's what I found in my research." That's such an important piece of the world operating as it should. This is a fundamental right that we've all been given to question our government. It's so important that we do it. But for some reason, it's just not okay to say that the earth might be. So if we're not able to ask skeptical questions, to interrogate those who tell us that something is true, to be skeptical of those in authority, then we are up for grabs for the next charlatan, political, religious, scientific, governmental, who comes rambling along. Let's continue on to another quote here, very important, by Freeman Dyson, who said, the reason why new concepts in any branch of science are hard to grasp is always the same. Contemporary scientists try to picture the new concept in terms of ideas which existed before. We get this all the time, right? People hear, us talking about the, and then we might say something like, the sun orbits around above us, and then you'll have somebody come and say, well, how is that possible? The sun is 800,000 miles wide. It's like, no, you're not understanding. We don't believe that. Well, how could it be day on one side and night on the other if the sun is 93 million miles away? It'd be light all over. No, dude, you're still thinking inside your own box. And so, great quote by Freeman Dyson there that I think is very important. But, you're just not allowed to point out things anymore, I guess, or you risk being censored. Is it okay for me to point out that all these guys that supposedly went to the moon are Freemasons? Starting with, John Glenn, first man in orbit or something. I forgot what or first American in orbit. Are you allowed to point out that he's a Freemason, or I'm confused? What is not allowed? Is that borderline content? Can I talk about all the Apollo astronauts that were Freemasons? Can we talk about that? Can we talk about Edwin Aldrin and Grissom and Edgar Mitchell and Irwin? I don't know if that's allowed. Here's another Grissom postcard here showing that he's part of these Freemason clubs. James Irwin, also same club. And isn't it funny that we'll go on, we'll see Buzz Aldrin, big member at the Scottish Rite, the Knights Templar. That's fantastic. We could look at Kenneth Kleinknecht, I don't know how to say that word, 33rd degree Mason, the head of the Apollo program. Can we mention that? I'm not sure. I don't know if that's allowed or borderline content. Can we talk about, the mass propaganda of having all these people at Grand Central Station stand there and look at Glenn, who goes into orbit, and they watch this, and why would they even doubt it? Maybe they were not allowed to doubt it, like we're not allowed to now. You can talk about the NASA tapes. How do we believe that NASA has lost all data, blueprints, and records from the Apollo missions? Following a Freedom of Information request in America, NASA admitted that it had lost all their original video footage of the Apollo missions. Fortunately, it's not just the video footage missing. They also allegedly beamed back from the moon voice data, biomedical monitoring data, telemetry data to monitor the location and mechanical functioning of the spaceship. All of that data, the entire alleged record of the moon landings was on 13,000 reels that are said to be missing. Also missing, according to NASA and its various subcontractors, are the original plans and blueprints for the lunar modules and for the spacesuits and lunar rovers and for the entire multi-sectioned Saturn V rockets. So, I just think that we need to point out a few things that this is U.S. President John Quincy Adams said in his Letters on Freemasonry 1833, I do conscientiously and sincerely believe that the order of Freemasonry, if not the greatest, is one of the greatest moral and political evils under which the Union is now laboring, a conspiracy of the few against the equal rights of the many. Masonry ought to forever be abolished. It is wrong, essentially wrong, a seed of evil which can never produce any good. The reason for this is you've got a group of men who all agree to have each other's backs, who are threatened with the possibility of having their tongue cut out or having a sword entered into their stomach or whatever the crazy nonsense that you hear in these little oaths that they take. So you have a problem when you look at NASA and you see, well, these guys are mostly Freemasons and they are keeping secrets and taking the supposed flag of Freemasonry to the moon and just all this nonsense. It's really sad. Then if you look back even further, isn't it interesting? Maybe it's just me who finds this interesting. Could be possible. Let me switch my little text for you. So we got to get a new one up there. 1 second here. We'll go like this and this and this. There we go. So, isn't it interesting that NASA has been considered, and I did a video and it was blocked in all countries. I don't think you can even find it on NASA being sexist. But another video that I've seen other people do is NASA's problem with race, which was a big problem for them. Obviously, you've got a bunch of white men who went to the moon. That's a known fact, right? The 12 men who have walked on the moon, all white, and not even thinking about involving a black person. If you've seen Aaron Rainan's documentary, he talks to a black gentleman that worked in NASA, and his problem with NASA being racist and the notes that he used to get on his desk and on the walls and in the elevator. So my problem is Then you've got people like Steph Curry, who come out and say that he doesn't think we went to the moon. And immediately he has to retract because a bunch of white people told him to. You better not say that. Us white people went to the moon. You're not allowed to say, Steph Curry, that we didn't. Shaq, you will get on Jimmy Kimmel and you will admit that you don't know what you're talking about and that the earth is round. You will do what we tell you. We will cut your tongue off. We will make you a public shame if you dare say you don't think that white men went to the moon. It is a very proud thing, that white men went to the moon. Let's continue on a little bit more with another quote. Or do I have a quote here? I think I do. This is Bill Cooper. Hopefully, if you are in the conspiracy world at all, you know what Bill Cooper is and who he is. But he says, I tell you now that Freemasonry is one of the most wicked and terrible organizations upon this earth. The Masons are major players in the struggle for world domination. The 33rd degree is split into two. One split contains the core of the Luciferian Illuminati, and the other contains those who have no knowledge of it whatsoever. And what better way to, produce this kind of doctrine than to hide it from a majority of the members. So just because you're a Freemason and I'm a second degree and I'm a third, whatever degree you are, whatever you think that you're involved in, you also know that the oaths that you've taken, and you also know why it is that, I don't know what countries a majority of the police officers are Masons. It's not so much here in the United States, at least that I know of, but what a problem that is when you've got two cops in maybe the UK and they're going around and, I don't know, one of them accidentally shoots an innocent bystander. And, what happens then if this guy turns to his brother, his Masonic brother, and says, hey, can you say that guy pulled a gun on me? Can you say this or that? Well, the fraternity comes first. And that is a problem in this world, as noted by Bill Cooper and the quote I read earlier by John Quincy Adams. So those are just some things, little quotes I wanted to start out with. I also want to show you something interesting that I saw came from John Sally. I'm not sure if you know who that is. But again, I'm very impressed with people that are in the public eye, that are on TV or anything, and they're able to stand up for what they really believe in and just say it. And just, kind of like Steph Curry did before he took it back, before he went and lied to all of his fans and followers. And like I said, I'm not much of a sports fan anymore. I used to be. I was a big Steph Curry fan. He played for the Warriors, which is my home basketball team. And, my respect for him is gone because I don't respect people that get up on some podcast and say, in all honesty and sincerity, that they don't think we went to the moon. That's respectable. Great. Okay, that's your opinion. I love to hear people's opinions. But then 2 days later to hear him come out and say he was kidding, he wasn't kidding. That you can listen to the podcast yourself. He wasn't kidding at all. And yet it's okay in this world for you to come out and say, oh, no, I was kidding, which is a blatant lie. That's okay. That's not censored. That's not borderline content. That's agreeable. That's white men telling Steph Curry, you're not going to get away with saying that. We're not going to let you. But let's go to a video here by, I don't know the channel. Do I know the channel? I might not know the channel. But I'm going to show you, if I can get this lined up 1 second. We're going to listen to John Sally, just a little bit of his interview here on the DJ Vlad, I guess, or V Vlad TV. I don't know, that's the name of the channel. But let's watch real quickly and hear this interview. John Sally was just asked about whether or not he thinks we went to the moon. And he's talking about his Tesla car, and then he starts going into this. So let's hear it out. Sorry, I did speed up the speed a little bit. It's going to be a little faster than normal.
And, okay, so I'm on Tesla Mulholland here in Los Angeles, and my phone drops. My phone drops.
Okay.
Do you know why my phone dropped? The phone drops because phones are connected by cell towers.
Okay.
Not satellites. Cell towers.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't get my phone to work on Mulholland in 2018, but we took a plane, a jet, left our atmosphere, went to a moon that's floating with us, shot off a space shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
The spaceship kept going around the moon. This goes down, lands on the moon. They get out, they jump around, and they take a picture. So I said, who took the picture? If he's the first man on the moon, who took the picture?
Wasn't it a two-man crew?
But Armstrong, when they showed it, was the first man on the moon.
Right.
So then all of a sudden they ran out and took a picture and shot back this way. Oh, this is a great shot. Stay still. Here's the space thing. Here's a guy jumping on the moon. That's Earth in the background with no stars. And there's them on the moon acting like it's at this point. Wait. Then they get back on. They throw a couple of rocks. They leave American flag. They look around. They get back on, and they take off, and they connect to the spaceship, and they come back to Earth.
So that's all bullshit.
In 1968.
Now, you do know this now was not the first attempt of them trying to do this.
Once again.
What does he mean that's not the first attempt that they tried to do this? It is the first attempt that they went to land on the moon. I don't know what you're talking about.
1968. Now, with that being said, I'm on Best Damn Sports Show, and I say it in the conference room. Hey, I don't believe this. You've been lying to us all these years. And he goes, oh my God, I can't believe. Don't say that on television. I say it on television. Buzz Aldrin doesn't want to come on the show now. He hates me. He doesn't want to talk about it. Buzz then says it last year.
What does he say?
I want you to look it up.
Buzz Aldrin.
Did we land on the moon?
Big ups for John Sally for standing up for himself. How long will this last? That's the question. Who's placing bets on how long until this black gentleman is told he is not allowed to say that anymore, and he better retract and say he was kidding.
So wait, this is the other part. This is the craziest thing. I'm watching this movie with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, right? And it says that it's 256 degrees below zero. 256.
I see nothing about this Buzz
Oh
Aldrin
yeah.
story that you're
Well,
talking about.
this is the whole deal. I don't.
Buzz Aldrin was on Apollo 11.
Yeah.
It's established.
I know.
In fact,
I don't.
He just pulled up. Buzz Aldrin was on Apollo 11. It's established. So obviously his channel was in no fear of getting taken down or no fear of getting demonetized or anything, because this is somebody who just goes on. And that's another great thing that I hear all the time. People always say, Jaron, you're doing this for money. You're doing this for money. Folks, if I was doing this for money, then at this point, I would just become a Globe believer. Oh, hey, everybody, it's a Globe now, and I don't have to worry about my channel getting taken down, and I'm going to get recommended, and I'm going to make videos showing boats going over the curve, and I'm going to go to Honolulu on the equinox and watch the sunset at 270, and then send it to everybody and say, this is proof we live on a globe, and I'm going to tell people I see the curve from the airplane, and that's all I have to do. It's easy. I should start tomorrow.
I don't believe this is the deal. When I tell you that, and they saying we did, I got a book because I said this to somebody. He sent me a book called Out of Space, and he goes, John, we did land on the moon. I said, okay, we landed on the moon. He said, but then they ventured to the dark side of the moon, and they realized there was artifacts, just like in the movie Transformer 2, which was funny when I saw it. I was applauding Michael Bay. They found that there was other civilizations that already
alien
been there.
artifacts were on the moon.
So if that happens, that means that the concept
And
of
that's-
Jesus Christ no longer should be used.
Okay, and that's according to this one book?
No, that book said it to that point. I read it. I go to it. I'm with Steph, man. I don't believe really anything that they said.
Yeah, beautiful. Man. And how long are we going to be allowed to say that? He just said, I'm with Steph. I don't believe anything that they've said. Beautiful. Honest, to the point. This guy's not lying to anybody. He's not joking around. But how long till we see him do a kiss-ass interview with Scott Kelly? Probably not very long.
You believe that the Earth is round?
So somebody just asked him if he believes that the Earth is round.
I believe the curvature of the Earth is round. Yeah, when I look at it. But the more and more I see flat earthers talking, and the more things I read about the point, I think it's another distraction to keep us not paying attention to the truth. I think we're living in Hunger Games, and the Hunger Games, and people just don't realize.
So there's this mass conspiracy with millions of scientists around the world throughout history that have been...
No, nobody said that. He didn't say that. He didn't say there is a mass conspiracy of all the scientists and all the teachers. Nobody says these things. These are the trigger points which they're told to say. These are the trigger points that they have to say, whoa, every scientist in the world is lying? No, nobody said that. Never heard a flat earther ever say that. Never heard a flat earther say teachers are lying. Never heard it.
Been purposely lying to the masses, and we're
Purposely lying? No, they're not purposely lying to the masses. They're taught things out of a book. That's how you learn about astrophysics. It's all written down, and you just read it, and then you become an authority like Neil deGrasse. That's it. Nobody's lying.
really living on a flat Earth that you could fall off the end of.
There's another thing. I don't know if I'll rewind that just a little bit so you can hear that. But he says, so we're living on a flat Earth, and you can just go walk off the edge.
That you could fall off the end of.
No one said you can fall off.
Well, if it's flat.
Yeah, and he says, no one said you could fall off the end. Again, this is all the things that we were taught in school, right? All the things that we were taught about in school that, all the pictures that we see of boats falling off the edge and the hilariousness about flat Earth. And, well, yeah, you're going to fall off the edge of the Earth. And, well, these things are put there on purpose.
Then it doesn't go on forever, right?
It goes on to, well.
You see what I'm saying? So if you fly on a plane, like if you know.
Yeah, I see all the same stuff on Instagram.
You've been all around the world, right?
I know, but I don't remember going on the curve. But what I'm saying, and my daughter hates when I get into this thing. It's been proven. So this is my only point.
Okay.
I'm into astrology. I love looking at things. I got telescopes in my backyard right next.
Now, remember this guy that's interviewing him is obviously somewhat of an authority. He told us, well, Buzz Aldrin was on Apollo 11. It's a known fact. It's concrete. But let's listen to what he's got to say here about the sun. Where does he get this?
To the bongs, so I see things more clear. And I go to the Griffith Observatory since 1983. And there's a show there called Center of the Universe. And on this show, it said 1,500 years ago, when man said the earth was round, or that we revolve around the sun, those people were murdered. It took all the way till we went to Italy to somebody to say, hey, this is a system that floats around on these rings.
Other way around. Everyone was saying that the sun revolved around the Earth.
The sun revolved around the earth. And the truth is, we revolve around the sun, which is not the center of the universe, center of the galaxy. It's in the suburbs of the galaxy.
Right, it's just the center of this universe.
Of these
What?
Galaxy,
that we
this
can
galaxy.
see.
This galaxy.
The galaxy that we
The
can
sun
see.
is the center of this particular galaxy.
The sun is the center of this particular galaxy? This guy's trying to talk to John Sally about his opinions about the moon landings and whether the earth is flat, and this guy just pulled the sun is the center of this galaxy. That's hilarious.
Questionable.
By the way, that's disinfo. That's misinformation. Make sure you only accept current facts. The sun is the center of this solar system, and it is 867,000 miles wide and 93 million miles away, and we fly through space around it. Don't forget that. That is all that you need to know to get by in this world.
Right? In the Milky Way. That's part of that. Because we go down and down and down and down. And then it's funny because I'm on Instagram all the time, and I'm looking at it, and I'm right. Like they don't teach a lot of things that you need to know. They teach you things that they want you to think about.
Boom. They don't teach you things that you need to know. They teach you what they want you to believe in. It is mass indoctrination. It is the worst religion that there is. Okay? But don't worry, I am certainly not, I wouldn't dare say that I think that the earth might possibly be, something other than a globe. Who would dare say that in today's climate? It's so dangerous. So dangerous to have me say that. I mean, think of all the problems that can happen if I, on a YouTube channel, am saying that I believe, in my opinion, based on my research and the evidence I've seen, that the earth is flat. I mean, how dangerous is that? It's so dangerous. It's so dangerous to the world. I don't even know how it will go on at this point if people don't stop saying that the earth might not be a globe. I mean, that's just concrete facts. People need to get through their heads, and they can't do it. We were all taught. We all went to school. I mean, does YouTube think nobody went to school? Like, we don't need any more education from these leaders. We don't need it. Let me switch out the text for you. You might want to see the other one. Let's go with this one. There you go. Got some more YouTube facts for you that you need to know and that you need to research and that you need to understand. What's on the thing now. We're talking about the distance of the great attractor from the Earth. That's fact. So make sure you understand that. Also, a public service announcement I did want to give real quick. Make sure you get your flu shots and vaccines. Make sure you get vaccines completely safe. So make sure you do that. And be careful about mentioning 9/11. Clearly, 19 hijackers with box cutters commandeered some planes and flew them into the World Trade Center at a height that all pilots that I've ever seen say is impossible. That the plane couldn't possibly do that. It's not even built into the plane to have the ability. The plane will stop you from doing that. But these 19 hijackers, they knew how to do it. So make sure you do not mention that. Do not talk about Building 7, which actually came down because as the World Trade Center fell, even though it fell straight down, like parts of it flew off, and then they hit Building 7, which caused a fire. And then the fire that the falling pieces caused that building to drop in basically demolition speed. But it certainly wasn't controlled demolition or something, and that's borderline content. So really, I'm just warning you: do not fall for the tricks of the truther community out there. You don't want to fall for those tricks. They might show you evidence. They might show you their opinion. They might just be somebody in their bedroom on YouTube. I mean, this is scary. The world has become a scary place where people in their bedroom might say something, and I might watch it. That's scary. I really thought that people could police themselves. That's the way I operate. There's no YouTube video that's ever going to get me in any trouble because I'm smart enough to watch the video, and if it tells me to stick my iPhone in the microwave to get past the lock screen or something, well, if I do that, it's my fault. I'm responsible for that. Okay, because I can watch something and decide for myself whether or not I think it's a smart idea, and I'm open to everybody's opinion. That's what's great about having conversations with your friends, right? Go out to dinner, have conversations. You hear other people's opinions. That makes life great. But on YouTube, there's certain things that we need to be careful we can't say. Okay, we can't say that the Earth might not be a globe. That's it's a little too fringe, and I can understand where people get very, very uptight about it. It's very, very scary that what you were taught might not be true. So let me just put forth the facts here that everything you were taught in school was most definitely true. So I'm confused as to why people don't understand this. If you were taught it, it's fact. Okay, if science says so, if Brian Cox tells us that no person in the history of the world has ever thought the Earth was flat, that's a fact. I don't understand why. What are we arguing about here? Obviously, Brian Cox said it. He's a physicist, and that's not borderline. That's fine. You can just lie outright, I guess. Well, he's not lying. He's telling the truth that no human in the history of the world has ever thought the Earth was flat. So, who am I to question those things? But let's look at a few other things real quick here. And just so you guys know what we're talking about, I do want to point out some videos by Red Pill Philosophy. And if you didn't see him, he was interviewed on Raw this Monday, so check that out. It's on my channel. That was a great interview, and he's done some really important videos recently. I didn't put it yet, but I will put his link in the description. 1 second, let me get the video set up for us here, which one we're doing. And I believe it's this one. Yeah, so we'll just let, real quick, we're going to let Red Pill Philosophy, Chris, read for us exactly what YouTube's blog said. Enjoy.
In a statement released today, Friday, January 25th, YouTube announced its new commitment for 2019 to crack down on what it calls borderline content. Stuff that, quote, doesn't quite cross the line of violating our community guidelines, but does get close to it. As a result, YouTube says it will begin, quote, reducing recommendations of borderline content and content that could misinform users in harmful ways, such as videos promoting a phony miracle cure for a serious illness, claiming the Earth is flat, or making blatantly false claims about historic events like 9/11. wait a minute. You people who believe in the globe, you globe defenders, you guys need corporate welfare from YouTube in order to beat flat earthers in a debate? But you know what? It makes sense that globetards need intellectual welfare. I mean, when you've got people like Joe Rogan's friend and professional debunker, Mick West, who's appeared on Joe's TV show and podcast multiple times, Mick West getting destroyed by flat earthers in a live debate, you know it's time to intervene.
Yeah, the R value specifically.
That's not what I'm getting at here.
I'm not giving us science. You're joking. But there's a lot of balltards out there that seem to think you are giving them science, Mick.
No, this actually the...
Sorry, what is the use of double-checking an assumption? What on earth are you talking about, you blithering idiot?
Well, it's the standard model.
Sorry, the standard model has no scientific evidence. You only assume a value of R. Correct, Mick? For crying out loud, man.
And speaking of YouTube censorship, that clip you just saw was from the Nathan Oakley YouTube channel, and they've been hit with a bunch of censorship, dubious community guideline strike, copyright strikes, but it's a fantastic channel. They do live debates 7 days a week. Anyone can join, flat, globe, whatever you believe, and debate it. It's incredible. I'll put a link down below. I mean, for over a year now, we have seen that whenever...
So yeah, couldn't agree more. Great video by Red Pill Philosophy, and then he also points out, I believe that in this video, yep, we're going to listen to this real quick, just what can happen with the backfiring. And I read the quote earlier, if you remember, the quote that I opened up the show with by George Martin, who said, when you tear out a man's tongue, you're not proving him a liar, you're only telling the world that you fear what he might say. And that's what I think is happening here with YouTube. Do they fear the idea that the Earth is not a globe? I don't know, because facts are facts, right? I mean, facts are facts. You cannot argue with them. Settled. It's settled science. Even though science can never be settled, you're not allowed to talk about things that might not be settled. Even though science says that it's never settled, if you question scientific facts, then you're labeled pseudoscience, or you're called borderline content. It's like you're almost in trouble. You almost broke the law, sir. You half jaywalked. You're in trouble. You almost broke that law, Jaron. Don't do that. Borderline content. You're saying that the Earth is not what we've all accepted that it is, even though we can see too far. Boats don't really go over the curve. Water doesn't go down the opposite direction in opposite hemispheres.
Great,
There's
guys.
no proof of the distance of the sun. There's no, those things. Let's listen.
So I just got a private message from somebody on my Red Pill Philosophy Facebook page, and they are literally just baffled as to why YouTube would think it's pertinent to censor flat Earth. So this is the comment right here. This is the private message. It goes, "Thanks for the link. I'm not a flat earther, but this is crazy. Conspiracy shows like Ancient Aliens are showed on TV, Discovery Channel all the time. But ordinary YouTubers can't talk about flat Earth?"
Well, this is clear. It's because Ancient Aliens is fact. I mean, it's on the Discovery Channel. It's on the History Channel. I've seen it many times. Ancient Aliens is fact, and Bigfoot. If you just search Bigfoot, let's see here, Bigfoot. Oops, let's spell it right. That might start a good direction. There we go. Let's go Bigfoot here. Inside one man's quest to prove Bigfoot exists, searching for Bigfoot in the Oregon woods, Bigfoot spotted in Virginia, 3 Bigfoot. So this is fine. You're allowed to talk about Bigfoot. This is not borderline content, ladies and gentlemen, because this is fact, I guess. Borderline content is when you've done the unthinkable. You've questioned the shape of where you live. Something that 99% of the world has no idea why they believe. It's just a religion, something that you were taught at such a young age. Every video, every movie starts with the globe. So it tells you right when you see the movie, this movie takes place on this globe. So I don't really understand why people. What is wrong with people saying that the Earth might not be that globe? It's dangerous, scary. I'm very, very frightened of what this world might become. Pay no attention to all the atrocities going on in the world. What's important is that people do not talk about the Earth not possibly being a globe. It's scary. Scary to hear people who have done their own research and looked back at some articles in the past, or maybe pull out some books from the early 1900s, and when they tell us that, hey, did you know that this flat Earth topic was much larger than we think in 1900, and they've hidden these things from us? People saying that is scary. Scary and dangerous. It's dangerous to hear that. So yeah, you can look up Bigfoot if you want, but aliens. Let's look up flat Earth. What's the difference when you look that up? The difference is you get Flat Earth is Round Earth by National Geographic, the ABC News hit piece here, the Big Think hit piece, Michelle Thaler, same girl who says that that we don't know what 97% of the universe is and that we have no idea and that we're clueless, also thinks that she's got proofs that debunk the flat Earth. 5 facts that prove the Earth is flat. This is not what it says. Again, this is clickbait. Now, this is what should be not allowed, right? I thought this is a problem. This is not a real thing. I don't know what that's about. Why do flat earthers still exist? Neil deGrasse Tyson demonstrates the absurdity of flat Earth. So this is what you get when you get flat Earth. This is what you find when you search this. But you can look at Bigfoot. That's fine. Ancient aliens. That's all fine. Brian Cox telling us no person in the history of the world has ever thought the Earth is flat. That's fine. Those things are approved content. So what are you going to do? Let me switch back to this one here and continue on. Let's see here. Where did I go? All right. So I'm going to show you on here now just some interesting things that I've seen, I've noticed. Let's watch this particular video, and I believe I went to the wrong thing again. There we go. Just so you can hear, this is what Miss Downs said here at the recent Congress hearing. Let's listen to her.
Of conspiracy based on the talking with people on the policy management of Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I just want to play because it's a short video, about 1 minute only, and I want to leave this on the show.
Go for it.
In terms of conspiracy theory content generally, our goal is to promote authoritative content to our users. So we have 2 principles that guide the way here. That's the first one, is we want to provide...
Yeah, because they don't have enough, help right now, corporate backing. The mainstream media, they don't have enough help. They need now to be promoted on YouTube. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm looking for news, I go right to YouTube, that's where the news needs to be. So obviously they need to promote the mainstream sources.
users with authoritative, trustworthy
Downs,
information.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I only have a minute and a half, and I don't really need to hear what you're trying to provide. I want to know how you're dealing with all these conspiracy theorists on your platform.
So the first way is by demoting low-quality content and promoting more authoritative content, and the second.
So the authoritative content, promote that, and the low-quality content, which YouTube gets to decide, they're going to demote that. I'll explain this real quick just because I've talked about it before, and I'll just give you an analogy so that you can kind of start to understand the problem that we have here. So if I, and many people have heard me give this analogy before, but if I were to take my front lawn and put some signs up that said, new free speech platform here, and some people start showing up, and they're like, what's this? And I say, here, you can stand on my lawn and say whatever you want. Say anything that you want to say. Come on. And so here, before you know it, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 people on my lawn talking free speech, saying whatever they want, as we should be allowed to. Free country, free speech. I believe in that 100%. So these people are just out here on my lawn, they're talking, and before you know it, now there's 20 of them, 25. Now, before you know it, people start to show up. People start to show up because they want to hear what these people with free speech have to say. So now, before you know it, I've got a crowd of 50 people. Then I've got a crowd of 100 people, and now there's 100 people that are talking on the lawn, giving their free speech opinions. And then you look out, and now there's, 200 people in the crowd, 500 people in the crowd. And all of a sudden, I start going out, and I'm going to start opening, vending shops out there. I'm going to start selling things to these people. I'm going to start creating advertisements for them to click on where I can make money. So I just call more people, more free speakers, come over to my lawn. So before you know it, the lawn's packed, and all of a sudden people are even coming from the town over. Everyone's coming over to hear these people, speak freely. Excuse me, speak freely on my lawn. So do you understand that the problem would then become if I at some point now have a huge audience? People are coming from towns and towns away to hear this free speech platform that I've assembled here. And all of a sudden I start to pick people out of the crowd and say, sorry, you're talking about X, you can't talk here. Sorry, you're talking about Y, you can't talk here. And you can't talk here. And before you know it, now I'm weeding through my people that are on my lawn all of a sudden. Where before I said it's free speech, come talk about whatever you want. But all of a sudden now I'm getting rid of these people that I don't like what they're saying. People need to understand that now I can control the narrative of everybody who comes to watch. Everybody freaks freely. I don't know why I keep messing that up. Speak freely. If everybody is now listening and they still think, oh, this is still free speech going on, but they don't realize that I've plucked people out of there, that I can now control what everybody hears and what they think and what they, this is the problem. This is what YouTube has done. Correctly, by the way, they have, they've gotten rid of borderline content. They're getting rid of flat earthers because it's dangerous. So let's continue.
Is by providing more transparency for users. So we're introducing boxes that provide factual information at the top of results that have shown themselves to turn up a lot of information.
Why, did nobody go to school? So when I make a moon landing video that says, I don't think we went to the moon, do they need to tell people that according to Wikipedia, we did go to the moon? Is there people out there who are being told through education that we didn't go? Confused why people would need that box. Who is this stupid? I don't get it.
That is counterfactual, such as searching for the earth is flat on YouTube, where you see a lot of...
Your response is to put a box saying, nope, the earth is not flat.
Right, because nobody went to school. So, this is very dangerous that we've got all these uneducated people watching YouTube who obviously are going here for the first time. They've never even heard of the moon, never heard of NASA or anything, and they're showing up and saying, I wonder if man has ever gone to the moon, and they're searching it, and then they're finding my video. That's dangerous. That is dangerous because these people, they have no idea. They didn't go to school. They didn't learn in school like I did that we did go to the moon, I guess. I'm confused at what this box is going to do. It's just ridiculous. It's micromanaging, and people should be able to police themselves.
Correct.
Okay.
Such as searching for the earth is flat on YouTube, where you see a lot of...
Your response is to put a box saying, nope, the earth is not flat.
Which they've never done, by the way.
Yeah, not yet, Bob said.
Heaven or reptilians or, Anunnakis.
I want you to hear this next
Teach them how to
little portion here. 1 second. We're going to listen to this.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way, for all the super chats. I'm going to read those all. So if you do send in a super chat, I've got the window open. I'm going to read those before we go off the air. So that would be greatly appreciated. Helping support this channel is awesome. But listen to this, a very important little clip here that Eru played on Sunday. So I want us to listen to it. This is a guy, he's talking about, he's at a convention or some sort of conference that's teaching people how to write Wikipedia articles. Let's listen.
Oops, we lost your audio, Eru.
It's coming back right. Here we go.
Sorry.
There it is. It's back.
Okay, because I mute the microphone, so sorry. Just I leave this part. Is very short one.
Watch carefully what he says here.
Teach how to edit in Wikipedia, which is the #1 source of information today in the world. As a way of example, if someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature.
Wait. It's what? Let me see if we can just rewind that just a hair so you can hear that again. That it's balanced and what in nature?
If someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature.
Oh, balanced and Zionist in nature. Okay, I was confused. I don't know how those two are the same. Something that's balanced but Zionist in nature. I guess Zionist is balanced. I'm sure YouTube will allow me to say that. Zionism is balancism. In case you didn't recognize that. I don't know if I didn't know that. I thought differently. Let's go to Wikipedia real quick just so we can see an example of them telling people how to write Wikipedia articles. I don't know if you've ever seen this particular page. Let me get you a little bit better of a view here. Yeah, it should be better. Excuse me. Let's look at why Wikipedia cannot claim the Earth is not flat. And it talks about it is unlikely you will ever happen upon an editor who will argue that Wikipedia cannot claim that the Earth is not flat, but you may indeed encounter some who will strenuously maintain that particular breakthrough or a notable or controversial idea, belief, or theory deserves more consideration than it has received in the academic world, using the flat Earth example below. Goes through and basically talks a lot about ways that somebody who believes in a flat Earth might bring up objections as to certain points of articles in the Wikipedia, and it basically tries to tell them, well, don't ever say this or don't ever say that. They cannot claim that the Earth is not flat. You have to say, oh, well, it's science skeptics or the scientific community definitely has a problem with the idea that the Earth is flat. Things like that. So it's just trying to teach people how to write Wikipedia articles. But if you go to the flat Earth actual Wikipedia article, you'll see right here, it says in the modern era, pseudoscientific flat Earth theories have been what? Again, this is not an unbiased article. Pseudoscientific. Please watch my most recent video, or the one how Einstein made the Earth move, and you need to decide for yourself. I dare anybody to tell me to my face that the Earth moving is not pseudoscience. Well, I don't want to get everybody confused that we obviously move around the sun. We're a giant ball flying through space, going around a huge sun, 867,000 miles wide. So that is fact. But what I'm trying to say is that you need to watch my most recent video. Check that one out. But yeah, obviously it's all throughout everything. So what I'm trying to say here is that flat Earth has been suppressed forever. It's not just new. It's not new that YouTube has decided to do this. It's just now they're catching up and doing what has been done for years and years and years. Let me show you some examples of that. First, we've got, this is a great site, cantab.net, but they've got a lot of information. And this is what people who have done, who research, who go and show their own research. And you can find articles dating back. We'll look at some newspaper articles here in a second. But you can see that this discussion has been going on, especially in the late 1800s. It was huge, but these things have been erased, okay, because of the fact that they were taken over. The Zetetic idea was starting to overtake, and so what did they have to do? They wiped it as far from the minds as people as possible. One of the examples of that is here somewhere, if I can find it. Yes, is this the one? Yes, this is talking about 10 years before Carpenter published his 100 Proofs. Johns Hopkins University was founded with a huge endowment from the will of John Hopkins, a Baltimore merchant. It talks about Daniel Gilman was his first president. Carpenter appointed himself as Gilman's nemesis. He made open letters challenging Gilman to defend the rotundity of the Earth. When Gilman ignored him. Carpenter took to passing out flat earth literature at Johns Hopkins, and then he was evicted by a janitor, all for saying, again, that the earth was flat. The second you say that, you'll be kicked out of any place, that, even if you work. This guy was a janitor there, or the janitor kicked him out. You're not allowed to come here and talk about that. One other thing that I think people fail to realize is if you look at this particular article here, you will find that a lot of things have been hidden. One of those things is it's impossible to find any real good information on some of these conversations that took place, and I'm trying to find where I saw that. Yeah, this one here, Brockport, New York. So this guy Flanders was having some success with flat earth lectures. He stirred up opposition. He debated 2 spherical advocates for 3 nights at Ward's Opera House in Brockport, New York. Hampton described the result in Earth, scripturally, rationally, and practically described as follows. This is, remember, so you have a guy, this guy Flanders, here we go, MC Flanders out of New York, went on a 3-day or a 3-night basically debate. And you can't find any of this information online. This is gone. It's long gone. You can only find references to articles about it. They've wiped this out. Why have they wiped it out? Well, let's read it. Mr. L.H. Rowe of Mandarin, Florida, a most energetic champion of the zetetic philosophy and its relation to the Earth's form, proving it to be a plane without axial orbital motion, forwarded to several newspapers soon after the event in March last the result of a 3-night discussion on the rival systems of astronomy which took place in Ward's Opera House, Brockport, New York, between Professor C.H. Jenner, assisted by Mr. Edward Barnes, who defended the Newtonian theory, and Professor M.C. Flanders of Kendall, who defended the zetetic philosophy. We are proud to chronicle the fact that by quoting from Mr. Rowe's article in the Lisbon Observer, trying to find some information on this, if I can get it, but haven't found it so far, that a committee of 5 gentlemen who were chosen to decide the question at issue ruled unanimously in favor of zetetic philosophy. So wait a second, what does that mean? The names of the gentlemen who had the manliness to sign their names to the report which was drawn up and published in the Brockport Democrat are as follows. You can see the people's names here. The report states clearly and emphatically that these gentlemen considered the balance of the evidence to be in favor of the fact that the Earth is a plane spread out over central north, which is located under the North Star, and that this plane has for its south a circumference and not a pole, and that the Earth has neither axial nor orbital motion. These kind of things are suppressed. They're hidden because of what they teach now in the schools. They don't want anybody to go back and find this stuff, and I encourage people to try. This is a great article here, but go to old newspapers. And search flat Earth in different states and times, and you will see some amazing things. One of those things here, this one here, this article from what year? Don't remember. Did I just see what year? 1874 is talking about how teachers are starting to try and control, not teachers, but the heads of the schools. What do they call them here? He says something about them being, let's see here. So they're called school directors, sorry. So he says sometimes the school director possesses all the characteristics of a donkey except the ears. They're generally tyrants who would not under any circumstances employ a young man or a young woman as a teacher who did not think on all the political and religious subjects just as they did. So then he mentions here some of these old fellows learn geography on the flat earth theory. And of course they will have no teacher holding globe notions. So this is just funny because this is 1874 and it's talking about these old fellows, meaning these teaching directors, they learned geography on the flat earth theory? Why? I thought, haven't we known for 2,000 years? Very confusing article here from 1873, and it goes on to talk about the fact that what's happening is these educational centers are being taken over, and you can read this article here. This one here is very interesting. Let's see here. Another article, this one's from 1855, extremely long time ago. But interesting information here that it's so hard to find this stuff. This stuff is hidden. How about this one? He then opened the page of scientific discovery and invention, which was perfectly illimitable, spoke of slow progress, which was formerly made in the arts and sciences, said he supposed the earth had been peopled and depopulated once, before man could read or write, and that if the antediluvians had a written history, it was yet to be opened and read, said that many writings began to multiply from Moses down, and there was a gradual walking out of darkness down to 1444. You can see further here, it says, yet scientific discovery and invention was slow at first, and so slow that the system of astronomy by Ptolemy, that the earth was an extended plane. Now, I just have to ask people, Who has been told that Ptolemy believed that the Earth was a plane? They don't teach that. This is hidden. Why is it hidden? Because it is detrimental. It is a problem. Let's go to real quick just here. Let's read about the Ptolemaic model and see about him thinking we live on a plane. Claudius Ptolemy lived in Rome, 100 AD. His model of the solar system and heavenly sphere was a refinement of previous models developed by Greek astronomers. His major contribution was that his model could accurately explain the motions of heavenly bodies. It became the model and understanding of the structure of the solar system. It is beyond the scope of this discussion to cover the complex social and historical implications of an Earth-centered versus... But here's the thing, they talk about an Earth-centered versus Sun-centered model of the solar system, but he believed the Earth was a plane. He didn't believe that the Earth was a ball. But you won't find that information. This is why it's important for YouTube to allow people like myself, people who can do research, who can look back, to just point this stuff out to people. What's the problem with people getting information? Because I'm sure many people say, oh, but Ptolemy thought that the Earth was a sphere. Well, then I guess these articles from the newspaper are just nonsense. They must be completely and totally false. This article is ridiculous. I mean, who would say that the system of astronomy by Ptolemy said that it was an extended plane and the heavens revolved around it and was taught in schools for more than 1,000 years? What? Aristophanes discovered that the Earth was a sphere in 375 BC. So what do you mean it was taught in schools for 1,000 years? I thought that, this is what the problem is that people can't grasp anymore. They don't realize how quickly history can change. That now we're told, we've always known it was a sphere. Everybody knew it. Anybody who had any intelligence knew it. Brian Cox telling us nobody in the history of the world thought that the Earth was flat. Well, I guess Ptolemy, but not according to Brian Cox, who is the authority on the subject. Then it talks about Columbus appeared. And this is even more interesting. Let's see, is it this article or the next one? Yeah. So here's the problem, folks, is that this article from 1855 is about to talk about, and I don't want to read the whole article. You need to read it yourself. But the problem is that he describes exactly what we were all taught in school, which is probably the truth, that Columbus was one of the only people of that time that thought that the Earth was a sphere. There was no talk of that before. Imagine this. Aristophanes, 275 BC, 325 BC, I don't know when it was, one of those numbers, says that the Earth is a sphere. And then it took 1,700 years. How many generations is that? Let's go 1,700 divided by 30. Okay, so that's 56 generations. So 56 grandparent, all the way back. That's how long it took for someone to say, hey, let's get in a boat and go west. You believe that? You believe that? You believe that they said the Earth is round and we know the size of it and it's this far and everything, and just everyone said, nah, no one's going to take a boat and go that direction. Nah, we'll wait 1,700 years for Columbus to do it. No, this is because it was just about, if you believe the history that we're given, about 500 years ago, 400 years ago, that this stuff started to take place. And it talks about to grasp the idea that the Earth was round and to make practical demonstration. He tells us that the flat Earth we stand upon is round, and proposes with their patronage to lift the impenetrable veil which had hung over the waves of the ocean from eternity. The learned men of the court examined his theory and pronounced him a visionary enthusiast. The priesthood opened the fires of the Inquisition upon his heresy. So the problem with it, again, is that people don't read these old articles and realize that we're being lied to. There's a story out there that Washington Irving is the one who started the lie, the myth of, and I believe it might even be in this Wikipedia article. Oh, I already closed the other one. Let's see here. Do they have a flat Earth example below? No, but anyway, in the flat Earth article on Wikipedia, I think it talks about Washington Irving is the one who started, let's see here. I believe, Flat Earth Wiki. Let's see here, Flat Earth Wikipedia. All right, and I believe it's down here a little bit when we get to Myth of the Flat Earth. And Myth of the Flat Earth. Beginning in the 19th century, a historical myth arose which held that the predominant cosmological doctrine during the Middle Ages was that the Earth was flat, which the newspapers just told us. An early proponent of this myth was the American writer who maintained that Christopher Columbus had to overcome the opposition of churchmen to gain sponsorship of his voyage. This is the truth. This is what happened. This is history. This is what we read in other sources. But they've changed it now. They changed it. So flat Earth has long been censored. It has to be censored, in my mind, because it's scary. And this is the problem, I think, with what YouTube's done. It's going to backfire on them, because why would you censor people talking about flat Earth? Who cares? Who cares? If there was some other channel out there saying the Earth is a diamond, the Earth is a pyramid, the Earth is a Pac-Man sun going around. There's lots of other. Who cares? I don't care. I don't watch those videos. I don't find their research good. I don't find any of their evidence good, so I dismiss it. Period. Easy. I don't need YouTube coming to my help. YouTube, people are saying that the Earth is a trapezoid. Please help me. Please help me get rid of these people. They're dangerous. It's dangerous to think that the Earth might be a pyramid, triangle. What? No, it's not dangerous. It's ridiculous. People want to believe that, that's fine. And if I want to believe that the Earth might not be a globe, it should be okay. It shouldn't be a scary thought. But anyway, yeah. And when is Washington Irving supposedly 1783 to 1859? So is it he wrote books and that's what these articles and these newspapers are talking about? I don't think so. Let's see, where were we at here? Let's go to this one. This is another article. This is from 1853. Let's see. It says, talking here, but the illustrious adventurer persevered. Sorrow and disappointment clouded his spirits, but did not shake his faith or subdue his will. His well-instructed imagination had taken him firm hold of the idea that the earth is a sphere. What seemed to be, to the multitude of even of the educated of that day, a doubtful and somewhat mystical theory. What? So can people not see what's going on here? Can you not see that flat earth has already been censored, and that what flat earth researchers are doing is bringing this stuff out? We're just telling you. We're just saying, hey, thought you might want to know this. Thought you might want to know that NASA's been in orbit for 19 years and has never once provided a 24/7 video of the Earth. Why wouldn't we be on the moon again? Why wouldn't there be a camera on the moon facing the Earth that would explain all of these eclipses, and we could show it to children in school? It'd be so easy. But none of this stuff is done. And you wonder why. Why we went to the... I mean, think how ridiculous that is as far as traveling to the moon. It's beyond the greatest accomplishment in the history of mankind. So far beyond that, it's ridiculous. In the fact that since 1972, no human's been further than 250 miles from the Earth. But in 1969, they went 238,000 miles. Fact, by the way. It's fact. It's concrete. Buzz Aldrin was on the craft. Circuit breakers. The guy is ace, man. You're ace. By the way, astronauts are heroes. I want to make sure I point that out. Scott Kelly, hero. Buzz Aldrin, hero. The girl who spent 666 days in space, hero. And all the other ones. The girl with the hairspray, hero. Definitely hero. But here you can just go on and read about these guys. They're not just, I'm going to repeat what Washington Irving said in one book about Columbus. Give me a break. They've just erased this knowledge. You have to go back and find newspapers from 1853 to find it. You're not going to find it anywhere else because it's been censored. Okay? Because it's been censored. So when you read about it and you start to think about it and you realize, wait, there's no way that somebody said, okay, the Earth is exactly 25,000 miles around, and here we are in Europe and Spain and Italy, and I guess we'll wait 1,700 years till somebody decides to go west. Because and it just makes no sense. The whole thing makes no sense. Okay, unless you kind of believe what originally was taught, which is that Columbus supposedly was the only one saying, "Hey, I think we can go around the Earth." And again, if you look at the flat Earth map, then you can see why all of a sudden it makes sense. Oh, you can circumnavigate the Earth. You just go around it. It doesn't need to be a ball to be circumnavigated. I will include all the links to these different pages, but this is a great site. This is just Library of Congress. You can, hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, I think you can see enough. Let's change that out real quick. I don't want to leave those on too long. Here we go. Help YouTube out with there you go. Censoring me. So, and yeah, you can just put in any state. You can do all states. You can do whatever date you want. So I want 1789 to 1950. And then search for whatever you want. Search flat Earth. Search anything you want. Curvature. Columbus. Just read about it. See how many results we get. Results 1 to 20 of 4,003. And here's all these articles, all pre-marked for you, exactly where they're talking about it. So it takes some work. And the only problem is is you don't want to fall into the trap of making a YouTube video about it because it's borderline content. It's borderline. Really, it's a borderline content. And you don't want to do it. So, I don't know what to tell people. You just got to probably be like me, which is I'm doing this one video kind of in jest. If you haven't realized yet that this is a joke, well, I don't know what to tell you. But obviously, I'm going to go forward as I always have, talking about everything that I want to talk about on my own accord. And I'm based on my own research. And if I get shut down, all I can hope is that, I already have to big thank you to my patrons who have made it possible for me to do this, because if you don't know, I don't know if people know how it works, but when you upload any kind of conspiracy video, YouTube demonetizes that video, or it's claimed and then somebody else gets the ad revenue. So really my patrons help me keep doing this. And my hope would be, even if my channel's ever shut down, that they would continue to do so, and that I would just come back again or produce videos just for them. The great thing about having a channel with a lot of people is you can get the information out to a wider audience. But really, I'm going to keep talking the truth no matter what. It doesn't matter what YouTube does to try and censor me. It is not borderline content. It's ridiculous. It is me giving my opinion in a country that allows free speech. I'm not saying hateful things. I'm not breaking community guidelines. But now they've been able to say, oh, Jaron, you kind of broke the law. Borderline content. You're saying that the earth is flat. You're saying that the earth might not be a globe. You're showing evidence for that. We don't like it. We don't like you showing that the whole Columbus myth didn't come from Washington Irving. We'd rather you keep that to yourself. We'd rather you not show people the quotes by Edwin Hubble and not show the quotes that says cosmology is trying to lie to you. Don't show those quotes, Jaron. That's a problem. Scary, and you're going to cause a problem in the world. Well, the problem in the world will be people waking up to the fact that we can no longer just believe what we're told, and it's okay to be skeptical. It's the best position to take. It's great. And the more that you're open to everything that comes in and you weigh it all, and I think John Sally said it. Did I leave it up there? Let me just see if we can hear real quick the final thing he says here, which is beautiful.
And this conversation right now keeps us off of conversations that really make some difference. But I'm just saying that I give everybody a chance to, and I listen to it and I keep it moving. And I make my own assessment. The Dalai Lama said, hear all the stuff, but whatever comes true to your culture, your conscience, follow that.
Beautiful. So he just said it right there perfectly. The Dalai Lama said, hear everybody out, and whatever comes to your conscience, whatever belief is works in your reality, then to accept that. And that's how I treat everything I hear. And that's how everybody should treat it. But in steps YouTube to be daddy, to tell you what's dangerous, to tell you what's borderline content. You can't talk about the flat earth. Talk about Bigfoot. Talk about ancient aliens. That's fine. Tell people that nobody in the history of the world has ever believed that the earth is flat. Those things are authoritative content and will continue to show up in your search results and your recommended videos. So good luck. My only thing is I tell everybody, if you really care about the truth, if you care about those who are researching it and those who are open enough and brave enough, and I don't know if people don't recognize how brave you have to be to do some of the stuff that we are doing. It's not easy. You get attacked from every angle, and it doesn't matter what you do it wrong. You answer somebody's email, they answer back, you don't answer for a few weeks, and then they write you a strongly worded email telling you that you're garbage. And that I've gotten a Skype message the other day from somebody telling me, I can't trust any of you clowns, blah, blah, blah. I donated $2 to you, and you didn't even respond to my... It's like, dude, do not donate to me then, please. Like, that's ridiculous. Keep your $2, keep your $5, keep your $100, keep your $500, if that's what it comes down to. It's just ridiculous that people don't understand what we're going through. My inbox is ridiculously filled, and then think of every other social media, and I can't get back to everybody. Like I said, that's the biggest problem with this. Really, I want to just make videos about my research. It keeps me true to my research. That if I get something wrong or say something wrong, I'm going to have to go correct it. That it helps me kind of corral my research. I can go back and watch my own videos and relearn things. Oh yeah, I remember I read about that, and I remember where I got that from. But the hate that you get and the videos that you see, and then once people see that I've got, now over 100,000 subscribers, once they see that, they just put my name in there, just whatever, jeranism this, jeranism that, and then they can just get a bunch of viewers from that. So, I mean, imagine if I searched my name, jeranism debunked, those kind of, that's up to you. If you want to go look at those videos, and my expectation is that you can watch those videos and decide for yourself who is being more honest here. And that's my whole goal in everything I do, is honesty. I'm just telling you my honest opinion, and YouTube thinks that's borderline content. So I always thought it was okay to express my opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. So we read about the Ptolemaic model, and we went through these newspapers. So yeah, you can just search those yourself, but find those, and you'll see lots of articles like I'm describing that will tell you that the history that we've been given has been changed, has been adjusted. So we watched John Sally. We watched Red Pill Philosophy, and I'll put that quote in there. Oh, and then this is great too. I just was watching this before we got started. Let me change my screen so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah. Nope. Yep. There we go. So this is just a video that Red Pill Philosophy just put out, and he's talking about this video. And man, you know, Chris, I sat down a few times, and I haven't had a chance to watch the video that you're pointing everybody to yet because it's like 3 hours. But I'm going to make it my job for tomorrow. So I'm going to watch that video because I've heard so many good things about it. Can't wait to watch it. But let's get this on 1 second. We're going to put this on, this one off. There we go. Oops, that didn't work well. Nope, not that one either. There we go. All right, so this is from Red Pill Philosophy's channel. He went out and did an observation. But really, like I said, he's just pointing out a video that everybody needs to watch. This is classic, man. He takes an observation with his camera, and I'm looking right now at the, I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't. No. It's got 259 likes and 77 dislikes. I dislike that you're taking videos of boats not going over the curve. I hate it. It's the worst content. It's borderline. It's dangerous. Don't show me observations. Don't do it. Because what does he show? He shows this boat. I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, you got this boat sitting out on the water.
Take the camera off the
This
truck.
guy is just out there fishing. You can see where the boat line is. Okay. So then what does he do? He lays down on the ground here. And we're going to show you exactly what we've been trying to tell you for 3 years, 4 years. As he gets down to the ground and lays the camera onto the ground, reducing the angle of the item into the distance. What happens now? Let's zoom in. All he did was shrink 6 feet. And let's zoom in and see what's going on now. Where's that boat? Oh, why? I don't even see the water. It looks like air. Uh-oh. Oh, he's behind the curve. I don't even... The bottom of the boat's gone. Damn, he went behind the curve. He's probably sinking. My guess is he's probably sinking. Poor man. You got to get out of the water. You're sinking. Your boat is behind the curve. My guess is until Red Pill stands back up. And when he stands up... Oh, there, he's fine. Whew. Guess that was close. So this is exactly what we've been trying to show you forever, that boats are not going behind the curve. It's not what you think. It's a reduced viewing angle. When the higher up you are, the more open this angle to this boat is. And when you get it too reduced of an angle, what do you get? You get this reflection off the water because you've gotten to too limited of an angle, and the boat disappears from the bottom up. Interesting. I don't know about you. I was taught in school. That's proof of the globe. It's proof of the globe. This is what I was taught. Just like I was taught, water goes down the opposite direction in each hemisphere. And then you find out that the people in Ecuador are lying to you, and it's all a hoax. And they're angling the water as they pour it in, or the bowls a certain direction so that it looks like that's what's happening. These are all things that have been lied about, suppressed for years. So the flat Earth is not new to censorship. It's always been censored, and it always will be. Because there's a bunch of people with a worldview. That worldview is that the Earth is inconsequential, that it's nothing, that it's an insignificant speck of dust, and they will send all of their observations and all of their nonsense through that, and they don't care about the facts that they don't follow science anymore, that it's clearly pseudoscience. You'll hear Richard Feynman say, if the observations don't meet the theory, then you throw it out. Okay, so they look out beyond the solar system, and gravity stops working. Galaxies are spinning too fast. They would fly all over the place. Doesn't work anymore. Gravity falls apart. So do we throw gravity out? Well, of course not. Gravity is what makes the Earth a ball. So they can never get rid of it. So what do they become? They become pseudoscience. Right there in front of you, when they go against observations, when they go against the scientific method, and they just make things up. Let's just make it up. Let's just say we live on a balloon, That's easier. Let's just say that there's dark matter out there. I had somebody ask me yesterday, Jaron, what is it that keeps the sun and moon above the earth on your flat earth? And I said, well, is it okay if I answer dark lift? And he said, what's dark lift? I said, well, it's there. We just haven't discovered it yet. It can't be observed, but we know it's there because the sun and the moon orbit above the earth. Is that okay? It's okay in your science. It's absolutely accepted that because gravity doesn't act as it's supposed to, that now 97% of the universe is something that's never been observed, dark matter, dark energy. So I think that the sun and moon are up above us because of dark lift. Is that allowed? Should I get away with that? Because that's what the scientific community gets away with. That's what's okay. That's science to them. And then they call things like the earth being stationary pseudoscience, when every test that's ever been performed has proven that the earth does not move. Said so by Einstein. If you don't believe me, watch my most recent video, and you'll see for yourself. Let's see here. We looked up that. We saw that. And those are my two things. Excuse me. Let's read some super chats real quick. First person says, love your honest search for the truth. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Golden Hawk 583. That's all I can promise you. I won't promise you that I'm right. I won't promise you that everything I say is perfectly accurate, because I'm just being honest, and that's all I can promise, is that I'll be honest in everything I do. I think Nathan Stoltman, who, if you don't watch Lift the Veil, you need to subscribe to that channel as well. Another big truther channel that's going to be not recommended anymore, because what he talks about are things that are considered borderline content. But one of the things he says is usually right, always honest. Thought that was one of the more better, well-said things I've ever heard, because that's all I can promise you, is that these are my honest and true opinions and beliefs, and I don't understand what the problem is with me getting on a channel and saying what I want, and if people don't like what I say, they won't watch. That's it. That's easy. Just don't watch. It's different. And I have people say, Jaron, well, why do you watch NASA videos? If you say you don't watch videos you don't like, I'm like, because NASA is the single propaganda arm that is being taught in schools, that is being blasted in your face in every news story possible, unless you're in a government shutdown, when then you don't even notice NASA's gone. Anybody notice that? Nobody even noticed NASA was gone. I certainly didn't notice. So, yeah, and what else did I want to talk about? So basically that was it. I mean, I have a problem that we can't have honest conversations anymore, and I'm going to turn these off now because they were meant to be funny and not real. There we go. Let's get rid of that. Beautiful. Yeah. So just so people understand what my plan is to not change a thing. I'm going to keep putting out videos, just like my Einstein video the other day had 30,000 hits 30,000 views in the first day, and then now it's at 32. I think 32,000, 5-6 days later. Just things that never used to happen. If a video gets 30,000 hits in the first day, that video usually takes off, becomes what they call quote unquote viral, right? Because if you have 30,000 people who saw it and it gets recommended to more and more, well, it wasn't recommended beyond that. And the other problem I have so many people who email me all the time. I read constant emails from people saying, every time I go to your channel, it says that I don't have notifications on there, or it unsubscribed me. Well, I don't know what to tell you guys. I can't help you as far as I go. I would just say constantly check, but I see it all the time. The other day I went to a channel. I don't remember whose it was, but I was unsubscribed. You just got to subscribe again, hit the notification bell icon if you want to be notified. But when you've got over 100,000 subscribers and you're getting only 30,000 views on your video and that's it, and just ends there, it's a little bit suspect. It's a little bit questionable. So that's definitely where it speaks. Somebody else says support free speech. Absolutely, 100%. It doesn't matter what people are saying. I've never went to YouTube and said, YouTube, you need to stop. It doesn't matter. I don't care what names they call me. I don't care what videos they do. Jeranism stupid. Number 3, number 37. Doesn't matter. Who cares? They have every right to their free speech, just like I do to mine. I choose to not promote hate on my channel. They call me every name in the book and all that. And again, go watch those videos if you want, and it's up to you to decide. If you think they're being honest and you think they're telling the truth and you think that they are accurately describing their research, and then that's your choice. And that's all that I ask from anybody. That's all I ask is what John Sally said there at the end. John Sally said, hey, I listened to everybody, And I don't even say you have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to me. Not at all. Nope. But my only hope would be that if you do listen to me, you take the good, leave the bad. If there's something you don't agree with, don't listen to it. Don't believe it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. What bothers me is when you've got corporate, welfare for globe believers where they need to start having their globe stuff promoted. What are you talking about? It was taught to us for 12 freaking years. 12 years of sitting us in a desk and telling us where we live, what it is, what it looks like, all this stuff, okay? And then when I'm old enough to the point where I say, I don't believe those things anymore because of this research that I've found, I should be allowed to say that, and people should be allowed to listen. And that's it. And that's basically my point on that. Marty Leeds, awesome. Or Marty. When are we going to chat? I want to have an honest conversation about Freemasonry. Love you, man. Yeah, Marty Leeds. I do watch your videos quite often. They are usually hilarious. I was dying the other day. Which video was I watching of yours, Marty? Oh, yeah. You were talking about Nathan Stoltman from Lift the Veil, and you were showing, gosh, what video was it? It was hilarious. Oh, it was the creepy-ass, what's that guy's name? Oh, why have I forgot his name? The guy from House of Cards. Kevin Spacey. That was so funny, dude. Just to see Nathan's reaction to that video when he's like, what's going on here? What is he asking for his job back? I don't know. You do great videos, and I love how you point out little funny stuff like that that really didn't even have anything, I don't think, to do with your presentation that particular day. But no, I watched that video. I think that's the one you talked about, the checkerboard floor, and I thought that was great comments what you've had to say about that, because I've said in the past that the checkerboard floor is, I don't think I've said it's evil, but I think it is a marker of the Freemasons because of what the checkerboard does. When you look at it, it appears to drop, as the earth would appear to drop, as they say. But the whole problem with the Freemasons and being on the level, I think that tells us something. I think that they know a lot. So appreciate you watching, and thank you for the donation. DMT Matrix, support free speech, absolutely. Swazzers says the elite are ramping up the war against us truthers. It may well be the death of independent thought on mainstream platforms. Underground time. Yeah, I mean, if you are a patron of mine, and thank you again, if you are, let me actually give you my support links. Oh, and I'll point it out again, and there's a couple people that did send something this week. Thank you very much for your letters and your postcards. I've been giving out my address, jeranism at P.O. Box 3044, Merced, California 95344. So if you want to send me a letter, postcard, donation, there's some people that maybe don't like to use PayPal or Patreon and they like to send checks or something. So, hey, there you go. There's an opportunity for you. Again, you don't have to. You can just not donate a penny. That's okay with me too. But I really appreciate those who do. It helps me keep doing what I'm doing. But let's look at my support links real quick here. To support this channel, first you can go to PayPal. It's paypal.me/Jaron. You can do that one. You can also go to patreon.com/Jeranism. That would be tremendous. And if you want to shop, you can, before you shop Amazon, just type in j.mp/JaronAMZ. Takes you right to Amazon, and I get a small percent, usually 2-3% of whatever you buy, and that helps a lot as well. So just about patrons, and if you are a patron of mine, you'll remember that I've done a couple patron-only videos or live streams, and I mean a couple, maybe 2 or 3 at the most. But if anything ever happens to my channel, or I have something that I need to say that I know won't be allowed on Amazon, on YouTube. Sorry, I need to put this over here. Thank you. Appreciate that. If I ever need to get off of YouTube for whatever reason, or they take away my channel or whatever, the great thing is I can still do the methods that I have done over there. So yeah, I can just do a live stream on some channel, even if I've got no subscribers, and people on Patreon would be able to watch that, and then I will put that on my website, and then only Patreon members can go to those certain pages of my website and watch those videos. So that will be happening if it needs to happen. It's great to have that in case I need it. Obviously, with the audience that I get on YouTube, I'm going to much rather do videos on YouTube for a mass audience. But if a certain event happens and maybe I have a certain opinion of that event that may be considered borderline content by Daddy YouTube, then I'm going to be smart enough to say that just to my patrons. And then the other great thing about that, and I've talked about this before, the cool thing is that even if I do that, well, my hope is that other people will take those videos, even if you are a patron and you get access to those certain videos on my website, you can take those videos and then put them up on YouTube, because at least it's not my channel that's getting removed for the things that I say. So I'm open to that as well. But right now, with a channel with over 100,000 subs, it's nice to know that I can get some traction on some videos, and the hope is that that doesn't change. Now, according to YouTube and everything that we've just seen, that will change. Let's see here. We got another one. I started a GoFundMe for camera on the moon facing Earth. Please check it out. Joy Nichols, thank you very much. You did? Okay. GoFundMe for camera on the moon facing Earth. That is classic. I don't think NASA will be doing that. Just real quick, I need to tell another story. I don't know if people know this. Maybe they don't. Oops, you're not looking at what I'm looking at. Hold on one second. But I know it's been reported on a couple other channels. But it's hilarious that supposedly Trump offered an unlimited budget to NASA. Let's get you over here with me. Okay, it's just one article here. And this is true. It's just hilarious. But it's a few months after taking office, U.S. President Donald Trump, thank you for that, reportedly asked the acting NASA administrator whether the space agency would be able to send a crewed mission to Mars by the end of his term if he offered unlimited funding. So imagine that. We already went to the moon 1969, 50 years ago. We went to the moon. Nobody died. Just easy. We just land on the moon, get out, play golf, drive a moon buggy around, do some wheelies, put some letter C's on some rocks, and all the fun things that they did, circuit breakers, things like that. So imagine they went there 50 years ago, and now here's Trump saying, hey, with an unlimited budget, can you get people to Mars? Which, it should be easy if you have an unlimited budget. What did they say? No. What did NASA say? Can't do it. And maybe you've heard before, I've shown videos of Charles Bolden, previous NASA administrator, telling everybody that we couldn't go to the moon. He said, even if you gave me all the money in the United States budget, I don't think we could get people to the moon because we lost that technology, right? What a joke. Just funny. Yeah, but you can look this up. This is supposedly a real article. Trump offered NASA unlimited funding to get humans to Mars, and NASA said we can't do it. What have they been doing? What are they doing? What are they providing this country, this world, but dreams and imagination? And look at these pictures of Pluto. Isn't that cool? Don't you believe now that the Earth is just like all the other little lights in the sky? There's no difference here. People are like, yeah, but if I look in a telescope, man, I see a sphere. Great for you. Do you see life there? Do you see trees and plants and water? Do you see everything that's here? Life, animals, fish. Do you see that? Nope. No, I think the Earth's probably of prime importance in the universe. That's what I think. Not lights in the sky. Well, I think that it's a sphere. Good for you. I think that it's not. I think that you just need to take the eyepiece off the end of your telescope and peer through it, and then when everything is spherical, maybe you'll ask yourself the same questions I did. Like, this is awfully weird. What are they trying to tell me? They took the Earth, which is 100% in my mind. The Earth is all that there is. It is everything. It is and I think I could go back and read these newspaper articles. I just read it today. I don't remember which article it was in, but in one of these it was saying that, Ptolemy believed that the Earth was the center of all creation and the only place that's terra firma. It's the only place that you can actually stand on. He didn't believe the moon. He didn't believe the sun. He didn't believe the other planets could go stand on because they're lights in the sky. Okay, the Earth is the only terra firma. But what did they do? They taught you that the Earth is just 0.000000001% of the entire universe. That it means nothing. It's inconsequential. It's purposeless. It's a speck of dust. You ever seen the picture from Saturn of the Earth? It's a little light in the sky. But you can believe those things if you want. Me, I don't. I don't anymore. I think what's more important is that people can do research on their own. They can talk about what they find, and that's what I love about YouTube. I can go there. I can look up anybody's channel. I can watch their video on the subject, and I'll watch intently and see what is their evidence here. What is evidence of the mud flood? What is evidence of JFK? What kind of things have you found on, Project Monarch, Project Bluebeam? I love to look these things up and watch people's, and I learn for myself whether or not I think the person's a good researcher. If it's, I forgot the name of that one channel that's, Secure Space, or I don't know, I don't remember the channel name. I used to watch it, but every time he'd just show anything and say, oh, there's aliens, oh, there's a spacecraft by the ISS. It's like, what? This is ridiculous. That's not what that is. It's nonsense. You're not even showing anything. It's a smudge on the screen. And so what do? I just stop watching it and move past it and say, okay, I'm not finding much truth here, or I'm not able to follow these people's research. The things I'm talking about, I'm reading from this newspaper. I'm showing you the articles. See here, we got Tin Cobra says, if YouTube and other social media platforms start restricting free speech, maybe some confidence-building videos would encourage others to take the truth into the real world. Inspiration and motivation. Thank you very much for that. And I totally agree. And that's what some people have already done. There's a ton of people out there, that are already Nathan Thompson and other people that go out and are handing out pamphlets and talking to people on a daily basis. A lot of people tell me, well, why don't you do that? Why don't I never see you on a corner talking to, well, it's because if you haven't noticed, I've got a channel with over 100,000 subscribers. So, if you're talking about me, what is more effective? If I go stand on a corner and talk to 100 people, or if I can sit here and talk to 10,000, one makes more sense than the other to me. That's just me. But again, like you said, if we get deplatformed, then I'm going to go any step that we have. Oh, I also wanted to point out real quick, just one thing. If anybody's got any ideas of questions that maybe you would have asked science teachers if you went back to school, or something that you would like science teachers to explain, what we're doing, David Weiss and I are accumulating a bunch of questions, and we're going to kind of narrow it down to, I don't know, top 20 or top 30, try and keep it on, 2 pages, 14 size text. And we just want questions, and then we're going to encourage children to take them to their school teachers, or we're going to mail them out to maybe starting with a certain state and trying to send them to different schools or email them. But basically, if you've got a question that you want asked, maybe the question is, if relativity is true, meaning we can't tell which is moving around which, why are you teaching children that the Earth goes around the sun? It's a brilliant question to ask people because they believe in relativity. Einstein is their God. Relativity, meaning all things are relative, meaning if you're on the Earth, it looks like the sun goes around you. If you're on the sun, it looks like the Earth goes around you, and we can never tell the difference. I'll find you 50 quotes from physicists who tell you that there is no difference. You cannot know the difference, yet we teach children that we go around the sun and that the sun is some 867,000 miles wide. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, questions like that are short, to the point, that are, we need these questions answered. So if you have any ideas for questions like that, I'll probably be doing a video specifically on that. But email those to info@theflatearthpodcast.com and just put in the subject questions for teachers. Send us 2 or 3 if you've got them. And what we're going to do is we're going to accumulate those over the next week or 2, and then I'll do a video where I ask those questions and then provide a link to the document, and maybe people themselves can help out by mailing them to their local schools. If everybody who watches mails it to 10 schools in their city or something like that. Anyway, it's just, you're right about finding ways to get this out even more. That if YouTube's going to shut us down, YouTube's going to shut us down. So if they do that, like I said, my Patreon site, or the patrons, I appreciate them so much. But they will be my backbone if anything ever happens. That I will, need them, because that's who I'll present videos to, and start to regrow my channel from scratch. And what can you do? As it already is, they're my lifeblood, because most of my videos are demonetized or immediately claimed. So, this video here, that John Sally clip, or one of the other clips that I played, or one of the clips that Eru did, they claim those videos and then they take all the monetization. So. I also get people all the time who tell me, you've got 10 ads on your video. It's like, no, that's not me. Well, why do you think that I did that? What makes you just assume that it's me? People think that if there's an ad on the video that I'm making the money. That's not how it works. But please learn that and understand that. So yeah, I think that we've tried to give some confidence-building ideas. David Weiss did a great presentation in Denver on ways to talk to people, ways to talk to your family. And it's not easy. I mean, I've told people before that even talking to my family at this point is not easy. Some of them have just come to the point where they've said, let's not talk about this anymore. It's too much for me. I don't want to relearn everything that I've learned. And it's, you know, more power to you, Jaron. Keep talking about what you believe, but you know, don't talk to us about it. And if you're one of those people, then yeah, unsubscribe, block me. If what I'm saying is too much and you can't handle it, you should be able to police yourself. You don't need to go to Daddy YouTube. They don't need to tell you what is borderline content. You should be a grown-up and able to watch a video and say, I kind of like what this guy says. I'll keep watching. Or I don't like this guy at all. He's lying. He's making things up. None of his research pans out. None of his sources are good. And then you just block me. And I don't really mind that at all. It doesn't bother me. I'm used to it. You know, it happens. Jaron, that wasn't a shot at you. Just an alternative. They won't censor motivational videos. It's always good to help people bypass the anxiety. Yeah, no, I didn't think it was a shot at all. No, I'm just saying that I don't know how to tell people how to do that. It's a difficult thing for me to explain to somebody because I think it's dangerous to tell somebody to go out talking about it unless they have a really firm grasp of everything that they're talking about, because you will get shamed. You will get laughed at. You need to have, I mean, this is why Owen Benjamin is so impressive to me, or Red Pill Philosophy, or Eddie Bravo. These people that take abuse. Eddie Bravo goes and takes Joe Rogan yelling in his face and tells, the earth is not flat, Eddie. Eddie, the earth is not flat. What do you think? Everybody's lying? You know, those kind of things. You'll take abuse. And so it would never be something that I would talk to somebody for, you know, a couple days, or maybe they watched a few of my videos like, I'm going to go out to the streets and speak about this. Well, be careful. Be careful. I think that's a little bit dangerous. You really need to have, like Roxanne, the globalist denier. You ever watched her? Well, check out her channel. She is able to stand up to anything people bring because she's comfortable in what she's researched. She knows what she's talking about, and she's okay with the abuse that she's going to get. And you really need to be that kind of person. And, you know, for a while I was in danger of not wanting to do videos anymore because of the comments. Because I'm not, how do I describe this? I hate the idea of hate. You know, I don't think it's necessary. Like I said, if I don't like a video, I just don't watch it. If I don't like a YouTuber, I block them. It's easy. It's so easy. I don't need to scream and yell. I don't need to create sock puppet accounts and go in and slam their chat. Sorry, I know you got the same screen up. Let me find something that's better for you to watch. How about that? Excuse me. So I don't need to do those things, and I don't want my channel to be about those things. The thing that got me a little bit worried for a while is I would be reading comments, and every comment was so filled with hate and vitriol and just nonsense and disgusting behavior. And I said, man, I'm trying to put out good videos, and I'm just trying to talk to people and look at what I'm getting. Am I causing more hate in the world? Does somebody come to watch my video and they're like, oh, he makes a few good points, and they scroll down and see all the name calling and just moron, and you shouldn't, you know, I think I've showed people before in my videos that where people said I should be put in a gas chamber, that I should be, murdered, and I should never, procreate, and my child's going to be a failure, or he's going to be homeless soon, and just nonsense like that. And it really makes you feel like, is this all worth it? Is this, but, you know, somebody, and I don't remember who told me, it might have been B.O.B., who at one point when I was asking him, how do you answer comments? How do you deal with the hate? And he just said, don't. He said, don't even look at it. He said, if you're providing people with your research, your information, you don't need to look at the haters. And so I wish there was a better way for me to go through my comments and eliminate the hate without having to read it. But unfortunately, that's kind of part of it. And there is some people that help me out with the comments. Thank you. If you're out there, I appreciate that so much. So that when I do look at comments, I don't have to see some of that hate, because that's really troubling. And I could see how any channel who starts up will get to a certain point where that gets to be a little bit too much. When you see things about your wife in there and things about your child, it gets kind of like, wow, what is wrong with people? But like I said, I think I am simply doing what I want to do, which is voice my opinion, show you my research, give you my opinion on things, and it's free for you to either listen or not. You don't have to listen. You don't have to donate. I'm not somebody who says you have to donate. All my shows are free as of now. There's a couple videos, like I said, on the Jeranism website that are only for patrons, but they're very few right now because, like I said, I want my content to be free. I want everybody to have the opportunity to watch it, and if people like the entertainment I'm providing or like the information and they want to donate $5 a month or they want to donate one time for $5 or whatever, that helps so much. Just gives me more time to do more videos, to do more research, and to look up newspapers like we just did or to read through those. Takes time. You got to search. You got to get in there and read fine print. You've got to read a bunch of articles that lead nowhere before you find something that's interesting. And a lot of people don't have the time to do that. And me, I do, because I worked from home. And, that's what I did for the last 5 years after I quit my job as a store manager. And I will continue. Let's see another one real quick. You're not causing more hate. Fact is, it is hard. It has to come to a point, and people get scared and angry when their world wobbles. Not referring to the claimed wobble. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't. If I really felt that I was causing more hate, then I probably wouldn't be doing this, because it's not my goal for the world, for my life, for my channel. I think we've all made mistakes in our past, and my opinion is you grow. You get to be a better person. That if you're becoming a worse person somewhere in your down the line, you did something wrong. You should learn from your mistakes and grow and get stronger and get better. And the reality should become clearer to you. And I feel like for me, it is. I've never been more clear of my reality. Now, I don't know what the sun is, and I don't know what the moon is. But before, when I'm just told, oh, it's some nuclear furnace in the sky, and it's 867,000 miles wide, I'm like, what? 867,000 miles? What are you talking about? 93 million miles wide? Okay, the little sun in the sky? The one moving? Oh, it's actually not moving. It's stationary, and you're falling backwards as you watch a sunset at twice the speed of sound. It's what? No. I just choose not to believe those things anymore. And again, I went looking for evidence. And for everyone who says, well, Jaron, you're too far into flat Earth now. How are you going to tell everybody if you ever realized it was a globe? Oh, I would love to tell everybody it's a globe, because you know what that would come with? It would come with what I've been looking for 4 freaking years. Evidence. That's what it would come with. I would make a video and I'd say, guys, here is the evidence that tells me the Earth is a sphere. So you have my word. If I ever flip-flop, if I ever become a globe believer, I will be providing you in multitude the proof that the Earth is a sphere. Okay? Now, it just so happens when I started saying, hey, asking questions, right? Could the Earth be flat? And maybe it's not a globe. I was waiting for, and I think a lot of people have said this. I think Mark Sargent said, other people, that they were waiting for somebody to come forward with the evidence, and you're like, oh, shit, okay, sorry. My bad. I'll go back to doing what I was doing. But the more I talked, the more I researched, the more I looked, the more you read, the more you look at some of the quotes of these guys from the late 1800s, early 1900s, the more clear it becomes. And then you see long-distance photographs, and then you realize we can see too far. And before you know it, you realize that all the evidence that you ever thought was there for the globe isn't there. That it's all propped up by lies, by pseudoscience. I mean, again, watch my most recent video on Einstein and ask yourself the question, which belief is pseudoscience? That the Earth moves or that it does not? If you read any of the PDF or go back and find those sources, read those books by those physicists of the time, you will realize that there's one belief that is clearly pseudoscience. It's the one that brings in mathematical equations, tells you that things like mass transforms or contracts and length contracts, things that have never been proven. That belief is the one that says that the Earth goes around the sun, and it's verbatim exactly pseudoscience. That's what it is. And then there's a belief that is based off of the testing that's been done for over 100 years, and every test shows that the Earth does not move through space. Okay? Every test shows that the Earth does not spin. So at that point, if you want a scientific belief, then you should believe that the Earth stands still. But again, people are too caught up in, I was taught this, and Neil deGrasse says this. Everybody believes it's a sphere. Good for you. And you're wrong about that. Not everybody believes it's a sphere, because I don't. Okay? So YouTube, have fun censoring me all you want. Hopefully people understand that the little scroll bar earlier was a joke, but I'm not sure. I'm sure I'll get things from, you told people to get their vaccines. You said get the flu shot. Yeah, because it's a joke. But again, for this video and the point of this video and censorship, please get your flu shots, and vaccines are safe, and fluoride's good for you. And, 9/11 is 19 hijackers, and yeah, plane hit the Pentagon. The wings, I think the wings folded in, and the plane became a missile. Length contraction, I think, is what happened, which is a fact. Length contracts. Look up Einstein, Lorentz transform equations. When something's going at a high speed, its length contracts, its wings pull in, and then it just dives into the building and makes an explosion, and everything that was anything to do with a plane just goes away. So that happens. Building 7, like I said, one of the antenna spires from the World Trade Center, it fell, hit Building 7, which caused a fire, and then the fire went down the elevator shafts, and then, well, this building didn't have jet fuel. Well, the jet fuel from World Trade Center 1 went underground in the tunnels, came up through Building 7, and then it became like an inferno at the bottom of it. And then, Larry Silverstein said, pull it, but what he meant by that was his finger. It was just taken out of context. This is bad research that people do. When he said pull it, he was talking about his finger. But again, this is the problem. People don't understand truth. They think that 9/11 was an inside job, or some sort of government conspiracy, or it's just ridiculous that people believe those things, and that they listen to conspiracy theorists who sit in their mother's basement and show you their research and stand behind what they have to say with their real name. My name's Jaron Campanoa. Everyone's seen my face. It's ugly as F. So that's why I don't show you it very often. Unfortunately, I have to go to these conferences where they make me stand up at a podium and you get to see me there. But other than that, I don't hide behind a fake name. I don't hide behind Wolfie6020. I'm a pilot, Wolfie6020. Look at me. What's your name? I can't tell you. What's your other channel? I can't tell you. I make all my money on my other channel, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. That's real truther. Yeah. Real truth-like. Yep, and Red's rhetoric and never shown his face, never shown a real name. Yeah, that's great. Those people are brave. That's brave people. I give credit to John Sally and people like that can stand up and speak their mind. Eddie Bravo, people who aren't afraid of the backlash, and the people who get the entire scientific community, the entire scientific consensus, like these debates that are happening on Non Sequitur show. It's hilarious. What are these guys debating? You're coming to the table with all of scientific knowledge, and you get to call that fact? Oh, real tough to debate somebody. Oh, yeah, well, the boats go over the curve because science says so. Okay, great. All the video evidence shows it. No. Nope. We've known that the Earth spins for... don't you know how a Foucault pendulum works? Yeah, it works because there's magnets in it to keep it moving. I know exactly how it works. I don't think it's you who know how it works. Anyway, see, I got another... Oh, I thought I did. Why did I just get a... Oh, thank you very much, Cynthia. Appreciate that for your... Is that from today? Yeah. Curious J, man, you're a good guy, dude. Curious J, did you enjoy the Rumble? I don't know. I thought it was lackluster, to say the least. Curious J says he thinks I'm handsome, so that's really great. Actually says, I think you're handsome AF, if you know what that stands for, if you know text lingo. Thank you very much, Curious J, but I'm currently involved with my spouse, and so you're going to have to keep that to yourself for now. But no, I appreciate that. So thank you, everybody. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I needed to discuss or talk about. No, just the censorship issue. And to make a little joke, make a little play, make a little fun of YouTube, who obviously knows best, Yeah, I agree. Curious J, I agree. It was a good card, but that was about it. Ended there. Yeah, so appreciate everybody watching so much. I already gave you all my links and all that stuff. What? I'm trying to see text messages here. Let's see. Yes, I agree. That's what I was saying too. But no, and see if there's any more super chats one more time. Again, thank you, Marty Leeds. And Golden Hawk was twice. Thank you very much for that. And yeah, I hope I'm not causing more hate. I just feel like I said, folks, if you don't like what I'm saying, don't watch. And I don't know how to be more clear than that. And, if there's one thing that I got wrong here or there, hopefully you look at the entire plate of my work. I'm on a 3-hour show every Sunday, Globebusters. I do a 2-hour live show every Monday night, Raw. Making videos as often as I possibly can, 3 or 4 a week. And I'm just doing the best I can to get out the information as fast as I can. And I've got, if you saw this list of videos I still have to do that I'm so far behind. And new things come up all the time. By the way, I believe, should I announce this? Yeah, I think so. I think on Saturday evening, I'm going to be doing a video, live video with Jay Tolan Media, the guy who does the infrared photography. So we should be on my channel to do that. And lots of other stuff coming. I want to do some other videos with some other people. Marty Leeds and I need to have a great video. We've talked about it for a long time and have never gotten together other than when I met him in Denver, which was awesome. He was a real stand-up guy and made a good, funny joke about David Weiss, which always puts you in my good graces. So, all right, no more super chats, no more anything else. Let me check the other chat and see if there's anybody there that's got any questions or concerns or anything. Let's see. Oops. What is this? Oh, I didn't know I put that over there. Sorry. Let me fix this real quick. Put this over here. Great. Yeah, so, and I mentioned, Globebusters back, right? Every Sunday, 12 noon Pacific. Please check that out. It's on the Globebusters channel. And, and if you want, become a Patreon, which again is at patreon.com/jeranism. And like I said, the great thing about Patreon, I'll just mention this again just because I think it's good. I know a lot of people don't like Patreon, and I understand the reasons why, and I agree with for the most part. But what I do like about it, at least for my position, is that there is some channels that I like to donate to. And if I only have, say $2 to donate to each of these channels, well, PayPal takes a 39-cent fee plus 3% of the transaction, I think. So, if I donated $2 to a bunch of channels, they would actually only get $1 and, whatever it comes out to, $1.50, right? And all my other 50 cents would go to PayPal every time I donate $2 to a channel. But the great thing about Patreon is if there's a couple channels that you like and you donate, say, excuse me, $2 to, say you donate $2 to 10 channels, right? So you're spending $20 a month. Well, if you donated those $2 to 10 channels, like I said, each channel would only get $1.50. But when you do it through Patreon, they take your $20 out one time for your monthly fee. So you would get $20 off once, and then PayPal only makes the 39 cents and the 3% of the transaction once. So instead, now that $19.50 gets divvied up between 10 people. So each of them would make $1.95 of your $2 donation. Whereas if you just donate through PayPal, you can't do that. If you're donating to 5 or 10 channels, you're going to get dinged with that fee every single time. Whereas with Patreon, if I've got 5 or 6 or 7 channels that I donate to, and then they each it comes out in one bulk thing, one time, and so there's only one fee. So that's a pretty nice way to do it if you want to give back to a couple channels. I know some of them have Patreon accounts and some don't. But if you would like to join my group, that's great. Patreon.com/jeranism. I would appreciate it. So I believe that's it, guys. It's been fun. Lots of videos coming up. Always keep an eye on my channel. And do remember to do your own research, because when you do, you'll never again believe what you've been taught. Till next time, guys, this has been Jeranism. Peace.